Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Colorado Virtual College Fair. We're going to wait just a couple more minutes, let everyone find their way into the room, and we'll get started here in just a second. Okay, it looks like we have our group. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining us tonight for the Colorado Virtual College Fair. We're really excited that you're here. We have a lot of great information to share, some really great panelists with us tonight to answer your questions about the college search process, about their specific colleges, and lots of other information. So I'm just going to go through a few housekeeping announcements. The best way for you to engage with our presenters tonight is through the Q&A button that shows up on your Zoom toolbar. You'll be able to ask questions all throughout the session to our presenters. They will respond, they'll type responses to you throughout the session, and then we may have some time at the end for some open Q&A as well. So definitely send those questions anytime. They would be happy to answer those. Your cameras and microphones are turned off, so don't worry, we can't see you or hear you, but hopefully you can see and hear us okay. If you can't, just send a message in that Q&A box and we'll work with you. Don't forget, this is just one of many sessions happening this evening, this week, so be sure to check back on the StriveScan website to sign up for any additional sessions that you might be interested in. There's a lot of great information out there. And this presentation, along with all of the others, are being recorded and will be available on the StriveScan website as well within about a week. So just keep an eye out for that. So this is what our schedule looks like for tonight. We are in this session C7 box. So we're going to get started with Dominican University of California. I will turn it over to you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. All right, sorry about that. Good evening, my name is Robert Bassett. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at Dominican University of California. First off, I want to thank you on behalf of all the schools here for taking the time to meet with us. We'd love to be with you in Colorado. Sadly, we cannot this year, but hopefully we'll be back next year. So again, thank you for the time to meet with us virtually this year. For those who don't know, we are located in Northern California. We are about 15 minutes away from San Francisco and 15 minutes away from Oakland East Bay. We're really close to the mountains and the ocean as well, so we'd love to be outdoors. We have everything to offer, just minus fire season, which is about right now. So Dominican University is in the top 11 for selected private colleges in the United States for social mobility. We've added this into our curriculum for a lot of our classes, including minor work as well. But on top of that, we want to do it outside of the classroom as well to have our students have the opportunity to be part of social mobility if that's something they really feel that's important to them. The Wall Street Journal has ranked Dominican University in the top 1/3 of U.S. colleges and universities for delivering valuable outcomes and quality education. It was named a college distinction for 2009-2020 for engaged students, outstanding teaching and successful outcomes. In the last decade, Dominican went from 45th to 23rd in the U.S. News in reporting best regional universities, and Dominican is one of the top universities in the West for ethnic diversity. A few fast facts about Dominican. We were founded in 1890, so we are one of the oldest universities in California. We have 1,800 students. That includes graduate as well, so a very small number of students, so a lot of personal touch there. That includes 70% ethnic diversity, 99% receive aid, 35% are Pell eligible, and 23% are first generation students and their family. 87% of our students stay for their second year compared to the national average of 72. Our average GPA is 3.6, and the largest class size we have is 28 students, but our average is closer to 14. We have no TA, so the tutor is your tutor, your mentor, your guide, whatever you'd like them to be. What we pride ourselves on is Dominican is the Dominican experience. These are our 4 pillars: integrative coaching, signature work, community engagement, and digital portfolio. Integrative coaching, as soon as you get onto campus, you're gonna be paired with a mentor who's been there for a while to show you all the ropes, like where your classes are, all the way to where the nearest Target is or the grocery store. We found out that students are 2 times more likely to be engaged if they have a mentor to help them pursue their goals and dreams. We offer signature work at Dominican. Throughout your time, you're going to be completing signature work. So let's say you do a graphic design program. All the websites you build are going to be compiled because 73% of employers think college students should be required to do so. It helps you on the other end. All of these are going to help you on the other end, on the outside, once you're done at Dominican. At Dominican, we have community engagement. So that means you have to do an internship to graduate. It's part of your curriculum. Not only do you have to, you get to. Some do more than one. These days, it's not enough to graduate college. You need a little more on the other side, including doing internships or community engagement projects. And the last pillar is going to be our digital portfolio. That is all the signature work and internships, and every single thing you've done at Dominican is going to be built into this digital portfolio. So when you graduate, not only are you telling the employers what you've done, you're actually showing them what you've done as well. These are some of the phenomenal companies that our students are working at once they graduate. It does help being located in the Bay Area where we have all these opportunities. These are some of the hospitals that our nursing and biological sciences and pre-med students are working on afterwards. We do specialize in nursing and biological sciences at Dominican, so these are some of the great hospitals they can work out once they've graduated. And then if undergrad's not enough for you and you're a go-getter and you're going to graduate school, these are some of the phenomenal graduate schools that our students are applying to and getting into once they finish at Dominican. So we are currently accepting applications for Dominican. You can apply on the Common App or Dominican's website. Both work just the same way. It is free. We don't need a ton for you other than some personal information, a personal essay, and then your transcripts from your high school. There are going to be additional props for nursing. We are direct entry for nursing as well. We are completely test optional at Dominican University. You do not have to send us any test scores unless you want to, not even for nursing. It is completely up to you on that front. And one of the other things we do is letter of recommendation. It is required for nursing, but it is encouraged for all their majors. This is a great way for us to learn a little bit more about you from a third party and hear why you'd be a phenomenal nurse or whatever major you intend to go to. Our priority deadline is February 1st. We do have a plethora of clubs and organizations on campus, and some of our signature work and programs are listed below. Our Borowski School of Business has a business bash. Our Black Student Union does Mahogany Night. Debate Club does our Penguin Invitational. The Global Ambassadors do World Fest, and our Latinx is a part of Carnival. We are also a Division II sports program, so we're part of the Pac-West Conference. We have a plethora of men's and women's teams. All are Division II except for lacrosse, which is going to be our club teams. A lot of our students, if you're a go-getter and you want to be part of both, we definitely encourage it. I personally love going to the games as much as I can throughout the year. These are upcoming ways to get involved. Or to be a part of it. We have our counseling sessions. I'm doing this virtual one right now. We have an athletics one, and we also have guided virtual tours on our website right now. And then we can stay connected with us. These are our hashtags for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and that's my email if you have any questions after this. Take care.
Great, thank you, Robert. Okay, next up, we are going to move to Harvey Mudd College.
Perfect. So hi, everyone. My name is Maureen. I am an Associate Director of Admissions at Harvey Mudd, and I'm also a Harvey Mudd alumna. We are located in Southern California. We are located about 35 miles east of downtown LA. This is our campus right here on the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains. Our location is really great because we're about an hour from the beach, an hour from the desert, an hour from the mountains, an hour or less sometimes from like the main attractions of the city. But the really cool part is what's actually happening inside our town. So in the town of Claremont, we are not alone. We are literally across the street from 4 other undergraduate institutions. Together, we're known as the Claremont Colleges, and we are in the order of founding: Pomona, Scripps, Claremont McKenna, Harvey Mudd, and Pitzer. So we were intentionally built right next to each other so we could share stuff and so we could give you the very cliched phrase of the best of both worlds. So we're able to remain small and offer you all the benefits that come with that. So small class sizes, personalized attention, close connections to faculty. And yet we're also able to offer you a lot more resources than we would be able to offer you if it was just us. So for example, our library is the third largest library in the state. And it's kind of cheating because there's multiple institutions for the one library. So that's just a very brief example. One of the biggest things for students is the fact that we offer cross-registration. So for no additional cost or no additional hassle, literally every semester you get a list of over 2,000 courses that are available to you, and you click on the ones that you want, be it at your home institution or across the street. My colleague Anna is going to be presenting for Scripps near the end of the session, and I'm going to actually let her talk a little bit more about other shared resources and experiences that our students have. So within the Claremonts, Harvey Mudd is known as the small one because we are just under 900 students, and also is the sciencey one, which is kind of funny because you can actually study STEM at any of the 5 institutions. The difference is that at Mudd, we take a particular approach to liberal arts. We actually ask that you spend about 70% of your time exploring STEM. And also we only offer 10 majors, which are all in STEM. They're in some combination of computer science, science, math, and engineering. Double majoring is a possibility, be it 2 STEM majors at Mudd or 1 STEM major at Mudd and a non-STEM major at the other colleges, although it's not the most common option. What's really, really popular are 4 joint majors, which are single majors, single programs that were built specifically for students that are interested in studying the interface between fields like biology and chemistry, computer science and math, math and physics, and mathematical and computational biology. One of the things that all of our majors have in common is research. Research at Mudd is not just guaranteed, but actually required. You have to do at least 1 year of research directly tied to your major as a culminating project in order to graduate. You can do your very own research project in the lab, so that would be a senior thesis, or you can participate in clinic, which is almost like an extended internship. Companies, government agencies, national labs come to Mudd with real problems. You end up in one of your top choices in a small group, working directly with them towards a real world solution. Be it a new design, new prototype, new code, new model, new protocol, etc. Despite our size, research is one of the things we do really well. Most of our students travel to our conferences to present their work. A good number of them will get to publish before they graduate. And out of 50-55 clinic projects every year, about 10 to 15 generate a patent. About 1/3 of your time is spent in the humanities, social sciences, and the arts, including a pseudo minor that we call a concentration. And this is very much tied to the idea of the mission, that we want to make sure that you take what you learn in these areas to actually be able to understand society and understand the impact that your work can have on real people, other industries, understand if your work is culturally accessible, financially accessible, etc. The big thing to know about our curriculum is that we have a core curriculum that exposes you to every single one of our academic departments, regardless of what you want to major in. And I think this is the part that helps students determine, do I want to go to Harvey Mudd, right? Do you want to go to Harvey Mudd and study chemistry when we're also going to be asking you to take engineering and math and physics, etc. So we're a really good fit for students that, again, are thinking about STEM in a very interdisciplinary way. Our students do fairly well after graduation. Our curriculum prepares them to think beyond their major. It prepares them as strong writers, strong presenters, and also to be very collaborative, because that's kind of one of our Mudd community values. Collaboration is crucial in STEM, so our faculty really promote collaboration from day one, and that very quickly becomes a constant throughout your 4 years. We're also a very residential campus, so most students, about 98% of them, choose to live on campus all 4 years. And we also have an honor code. So the honor code assumes that you're coming to Mudd to learn, that you're going to behave with academic integrity and in ways that are respectful of others and of yourself. And as a result, you're going to have things like take-home exams, access to academic spaces and lab spaces at any time of the day, etc. I think the honor code is also one of the reasons why many students choose to come to Mudd. When it comes to admission and financial aid, you can find the specifics on our website. We are need blind for domestic applicants. We also meet 100% of demonstrated need for all admitted students. We offer merit aid. This year, we're actually going to be test optional this year and next year for the SAT or ACT, and you're still eligible for merit scholarships even if you don't submit scores. We also offer 3 rounds of applications: early decision 1, early decision 2, and regular decision. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Maureen. Okay, let's see here. Okay, next up, we are going to jump to Mills College next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Diana Martinez. Nice to meet you all. I am the admissions counselor for Mills College. Right behind me is our beautiful campus. Take a look. Okay, so we're located right here in Oakland, California. I love Oakland. I believe we have perfect weather. We're not too hot. We're not too cold. We still have seasons, but we don't have snow. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see a little bit more about Mills. All right, so we are a historically women's college, which means that we accept women, trans students, and gender non-binary students who were assigned female at birth. I myself went to a historically women's college, so I can tell you from experience, it was the most empowering and fun experience I've ever had. And that's why I work at a women's college now. I am still best friends with some of the students I met on my very first day. We've got a strong, close-knit community, and that community continues even after graduation. So many alums are there for each other, giving professional advice, personal advice, always looking out for other Millsies. So that's why I recommend Mills College. We're going to continue on. Here's a little bit about our student body. The statistics speak for themselves. We're very diverse. And I do want to give attention to the fact that we have 43% of our student body that are first-generation college students. We have a lot of different resources for first-gen students, including a summer bridge program where first-gen students can come to our campus a couple weeks early, take a few workshops, and get college credit all before the semester even starts. Now, we do have a similar program for STEM students as well. So if you're interested in STEM, then that's definitely something to check out. Here are all of our majors. Something I'd like to point out is that we also have an individualized major. So if you're looking at this list of majors and you don't see the major that particularly captures what you want to study, you can actually create your own adventure with your academics and piece together a patchwork quilt of our classes into the major that suits you best. And we have partnerships with UC Berkeley and California College of the Arts. So if there's a class that we don't offer that you'd like to take, you can cross-transfer and take those classes at our partner schools. We're very hands-on with academics. So we make sure that students have the opportunity to do research or to do hands-on work. For example, we have a tropical marine conservation class, and students actually travel to Central America, go scuba diving, and study the botany and the beautiful marine life animals up close and personal. So that's just one example. We have all kinds of resources on campus. I've already mentioned the internships and research that we have. And also I'd like to point out that we have counseling and psychological services. The first 8 sessions for students are free. We've got all kinds of study abroad opportunities, all kinds of ways to get involved in the community. And if you're interested in social justice or activism, I really recommend that you check out Mills, because our student body are very active in the community, and Oakland is an excellent place to get involved. So here's a little more information about what it's like at Mills. We have guaranteed housing for all our students, but you're not obligated to live on campus. We have many commuting resources for students, and we have really great public transportation. We have a bus that stops right in front of our campus that can take students directly into downtown San Francisco if you have internships or if you just want to have fun in the city that day. And as you can see, we have more than 50 clubs and organizations. We have 6 different sports teams, and they are Division III, and we have all different types of ways for students to find their voice and be leaders. Here's a little bit of information about our application. So we believe in equity and access when it comes to our application process. We are testing optional. We have been for a few years now. So It will not hurt your application in any way if you do not submit SAT or ACT scores. Another optional part of the application is an interview. That's optional. But what you should have if you apply to Mills is the application, we accept Common App, also official transcripts, and one letter of recommendation, preferably an academic letter of recommendation. Now, the most important thing to know when you're learning about private schools is about tuition and cost. So I hope everybody here knows that when you look at a tuition of a college, that doesn't mean you necessarily are going to pay that full tuition, because there's all kinds of financial aid available to you. In fact, just this year, Mills College was voted the #1 best value college in the West by U.S. News and World Report. We just recently reduced our tuition by 36%, and on top of that, we have scholarships. Our merit scholarships go up to $14,000 a year. That's almost half of tuition. On top of that, we have need-based scholarships and grants. So definitely don't say no to a college just because of the cost. I really encourage you to, no matter what the college is, apply to it and then find out how much financial aid you'll get before making the final decision. So if you have any questions, here's my email address. We are going to have a virtual open house October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So go ahead and go to mills.edu to register and follow us on Instagram to find out more. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Diana. Okay, next up, we're going to do Occidental College.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Kian Tarosa. I am an Assistant Dean of Admission at Occidental College. I'm also a graduate of Occidental. I graduated in 2015 and have read for Colorado for several years now, and wish we could be there in person, but I'm glad that we at least get to talk to you now. There isn't too much time today, so I really want to focus in on the aspect of Oxy that I think most distinguishes Occidental. And that is our identity as a residential liberal arts and sciences college that is located in a major US city. If you think about most schools in major US cities, those schools tend to be medium to large size universities. If you think about most residential liberal arts colleges, those schools tend to be outside of a city or oftentimes, more isolated or rural. Oxy is one of only a handful of schools in the country that combines the benefits of a small residential tight-knit campus community and liberal arts experience with having access to a city. And so a lot of the things that I'll talk about today, whether it's academics or social life, or how we prepare students for life after Oxy, all of that is informed by the idea of a small school in a big city and how we use that. Just to give a brief kind of sense of Oxy and the student body before we jump into things, there's about 2,000 students at Oxy, about 80% of whom live on campus. All 2,000 of our students are undergraduates. We don't have any graduate students on campus, meaning no TAs or grad students taking any research opportunities or anything like that. This view, I think, gives a bit of a sense on where we are in LA. This was taken from right above campus, looking westward over the rest of Los Angeles. Even though we are an urban school, we still have a very defined campus. So you can see this highlighted section here is Oxy's campus. It's very clear when you step on campus versus when you step off. And I think one of the things that I love about Oxy is that we do have Eagle Rock and Highland Park as our immediate neighborhoods. So those are super walkable areas where students can walk to get, tacos from a taco truck, or go to a coffee shop to do homework, or have live music venues or pool halls or anything like that. But you still have downtown LA, Hollywood, all the beach cities within a short drive as well. I don't know if I quite have time to talk about transportation and everything today, but certainly feel free to ask questions in the Q&A and I can speak to those. As far as academics, I think in a lot of ways, Oxy has a pretty similar academic model as most liberal arts institutions. We really emphasize the idea of small classes and close relationships with faculty and students. Our average class size is 18. We have a 9-to-1 student-faculty ratio, and most of your courses are going to involve a professor introducing some sort of text or material leading up to the class. You engage with it on your own, and then you come to class prepared to discuss and debate it with your peers. Every student comes to campus undeclared. If you know right away what you want to study, you can declare your major right away. But if you're not sure, you can take up to 2 years to sort of explore different avenues and figure out what your major is going to be. Everything that I've sort of mentioned just now isn't necessarily unique to Oxy. I don't think we're the only liberal arts college that emphasizes small classes or close relationship with faculty. What we do that's going to be a bit different is how we utilize LA in the work that our students do. I always like to point out that I think professors go through very similar college search processes as you all as high school students. I mean, we've asked our professors why they're interested in teaching at Oxy, and almost universally they give two answers. The first of which is that they really enjoy actually teaching students, that it's not just research, but they get to have relationships with their undergraduate students. But then the other answer they give is that they love to utilize LA as an extension of the classroom. Regardless of what your major is at Oxy, you're going to have some courses that involve going out into the city. And your classes shouldn't just be theoretical and conversation-based in a classroom setting. You should be able to understand why what you're studying is meaningful beyond that classroom experience. And so that looks different for different departments. If you are a politics student, you're going to have classes that go to city council meetings and talk about where theory holds up and where it falls short. If you're an art history major, you're going to go to the Getty and to the Broad and see what you're seeing on a textbook in actuality. You know, geology classes going to Joshua Tree in Death Valley, marine bio classes pictured here going trawling for fish in the Pacific Ocean. We want to make sure that you're getting that kind of LA hands-on experience beyond just that classroom setting. In the same vein, research and study abroad are huge parts of the Oxy experience. You have students doing research both with faculty as undergraduate students. It's really common for our students to be published before they leave. But then we also have a funded research program over the summer where we fund about 125 students each summer to live on campus and do research in an area of their own choosing. Similarly, with study abroad, we have about 75% of our students that do a program through the International Programs Office, most of whom are doing a semester abroad, but we also have campaign semester for students that want to work full-time on a political campaign in the US. And then we also have the only residential full-time undergraduate program at the United Nations, where we send about 18 students during their senior year to work with a specific delegation or department at the UN. As far as that residential experience, as I mentioned, most of our students are living on campus. We guarantee housing for all 4 years and really emphasize that, you know, we're not a commuter school. It's not somewhere where you go to class and you go back to your room, or you hole up in the library the whole time. We want you to have relationships with your peers and get to learn from one another. Some images of campus. You've got our solar array that accounts for about 13% of the electrical consumption on campus. And then you've got some pictures of the quad. You've got a variety of different campus organizations. I think every school at this point has probably over 100 different clubs and activities to be involved in. Varsity athletics certainly play a role with about 25% of our students, varsity athletes, and then about another 25% that do club and intramural sports. An image of a lab. You've got an image of our most famous alumnus who spent 2 years at Oxy. You've got an image of dance production. Burning through slides at this point. Here's a bit of information on our first year class profile. By any metric, Oxy is one of the most diverse liberal arts colleges in the country. It's about 46% of our incoming students are domestic students of color. About 46% are domestic white identifying students, and about 8% are international students who went to high school abroad. We want to also make sure that we're not just bringing students with a variety of experiences, backgrounds, but also supporting them when they're here. And I'm certainly happy to talk about that more in the chat. Some Oxy outcomes. Oxy students go on to do a variety of different things when they graduate. One quick plug that I'll make is NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which I was surprised to learn this year is actually our largest Oxy employer. So more than any other employer, we have about 50 alums that are currently working at NASA's JPL, and we have an internship agreement with them. About 20% of our students go immediately to graduate school. About 50% go within 5 years, and about 70% go within 10 years. Again, burning through a lot of info, and hopefully some of this is sticking. We've got some information on admission financial aid here, all of which is also available on our website. I should also mention that we meet 100% of demonstrated need. It's fewer than 70 schools in the country at this point that meet 100% of need. And there's a net price calculator on our website if you want to get a sense of what that looks like for you. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Keen. Okay, and last but not least, we are going to jump over to Scripps College.
Awesome, thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is Anna Marie Wood. I'm Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Scripps. I'm also a graduate, so I'm a graduate from the class of 2013. And I will continue with where Maureen left off, my colleague from Harvey College. So as Maureen said, it is very much the cliche phrase, the best of both worlds. Actually, when I was a student at Scripps, my major was anthropology, and that is a joint Scripps-Pitzer major. So hopefully that gives you an idea of just how much interaction there really can be among the schools. So half of my major was actually at one of the other schools. Another example I always like to share is when I was a student at Scripps, my dorm room all 4 years was actually closer to Harvey Mudd's dining hall than it was to Scripps's dining hall. When I say closer, I mean like by a 45-second walk, but if you're rushing to class in the morning, that mattered. So I ended up eating most of my breakfasts actually at Harvey Mudd. And so again, another good example of really just how close the schools are. So we have a variety of shared resources, like Maureen mentioned, the library, but also a student health center, our campus safety, a variety of identity-based organizations, various services. You can see our chaplain's office there as well. One thing I also have to highlight about the consortium is just how sports works. So we play in NCAA Division III. There's actually, the 5 of us divide into 2 teams in NCAA Division III. So Scripps, Harvey Mudd, and Claremont McKenna College, we form the CMS team. And then Pomona College and Pitzer College form the Pomona-Pitzer team. So it's really funny if you think about it, because let's say you go to Scripps, and if you have a friend at, Pomona or Pitzer, which you probably definitely will, if it's game day, they are not your friend. So your athletic opponent is literally right across the street. You could be best friends with your athletic opponent. It's just a very interesting rivalry. And there's a variety of, student-led clubs and organizations at each school, but also across the 5 schools. So we have a lot of what we call 5C, 5 college clubs and organizations. Some quick facts about Scripps. We were founded in 1926 by Ellen Browning Scripps, and the quote that I always like to share by Ellen is this one: the paramount obligation of a college is to develop in its students the ability to think clearly and independently, and the ability to live confidently, courageously, and hopefully. Really, those last 3 words embody everything we do at Scripps, inside and outside the classroom, and also just your life afterwards as a Scripps alum. We are the women's college of the Claremont colleges, and when Ellen founded Scripps, she was really passionate about this idea of starting a place that was all about female empowerment and education as a women's college, but really also this idea of the Claremont colleges. And so she was really instrumental in also getting the consortium started. And so we have this interesting role that we play. We are the only women's college in the consortium. And so you really truly do get the best of both worlds as a small, empowering women's college experience, but also the experience of a co-ed mid-sized university with the other Claremont colleges. We are a small private liberal arts college. We have small class sizes. As you learned from my other colleagues here today, the benefits of a small liberal arts college really do ring true at Scripps. We are nationally ranked, and we are also very residential. So almost all of our students live on campus for all 4 years. Housing is guaranteed. And that is one of our residence halls you can see in the background, if you can kind of see it. Some things to note about our academics are like any other liberal arts college, I think a lot of our students are just involved in a lot of different things academically and have a lot of diverse interests. We're not just a sciencey school, we're not just an artsy school, we're kind of a little bit of everything. About a quarter of our students will have 2 majors. Those could be related or not related. Regardless of what your major ends up being, and students have about the first two years at Scripps to kind of shop around and figure out what they want to major in. But regardless of what you major in, every Scripps student will go through the core curriculum in interdisciplinary humanities. It is a set of 3 classes that all Scripps students take in their first year and a half at Scripps. This provides a interdisciplinary foundation and really a strong foundation in the humanities. And the first part of this program, called Core 1, is interesting because all first-year students take it together. And it is a truly interdisciplinary class because there are 16 Scripps professors who all represent different academic subjects, and they teach the class together. And the theme of the class changes every 3 years. This year's theme is truth. So the 16 professors and the students together are exploring what is truth, how do you define truth, how do you explore truth or approach this concept of truth, what is real, what is false, from a variety of different disciplinary perspectives. So core is something that all Scripps students will have in common, and it's something that is very, very interdisciplinary. And then at the end of your time at Scripps, every single Scripps student will do a senior thesis. So that is your time to become an expert on something within your major or majors, and you spend senior year researching and writing your senior thesis. And Capstone Day is one of our traditions where Scripps seniors present their thesis topics to the Scripps community. So I like to share core and thesis because I think it provides what we call a bookends theme. Everyone starts with core and everyone ends with thesis. So the beginning and the end of your time at Scripps are pretty much the same for everyone. And that allows us to really build a tight-knit and collaborative community. This idea of a tight-knit and collaborative community is really important to us as a women's college. I won't go through everything on the slide, but for what really impacted me as a student at a women's college is really this idea of just being at a place where women support other women. It's a place where your success is not in conflict with someone else's, and it's very tight-knit and collaborative. It is just a place where people support each other. You're challenged academically, but it's a really good academic challenge, and everyone's very collaborative. There's a variety of ways in which we support students on campus with different resources and community building and support. One thing I just like to highlight on here too is we have health and wellness different programs. One thing I like is De-Stress Thursdays as a way to kind of end up the week. Every student has a primary contact dean. So that is someone who was in your point of contact within student affairs. If you need various resources, you know who to reach out to. And the last part on this slide is within our residential community, we also have communities within communities. So if you want to live in a STEM hall or foreign languages hall or a leadership hall, there's a variety of different ways where you can get engaged with a community within a community inside of our residential halls. Last thing I want to share is the tradition that we have at Scripps, and this is, every graduating class gets a spot on this wall, and they get to paint whatever they feel depicts their time on campus. So it's a really neat collection of Scripps history and something that you get to partake in before you graduate. So I think that is my time, and so I will end here. But if you have any other questions, I'll put my email into the chat. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Anna Marie. Okay, well, we have a couple of extra minutes, so I would just encourage you, if you have questions, to go ahead and submit those in the Q&A. If not, or while we're waiting on those questions to come in, I'm going to share my screen one last time. And really, we just wanted to say thank you for joining us tonight for the college fair. I know we had a great group of presenters tonight. Hopefully they answered your questions about their colleges and the college search process. But I know they'd be happy to answer any additional questions you have too. So feel free to submit those in the Q&A. When you do leave this webinar, go ahead and there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. If you don't mind taking a couple of minutes just to fill that out for us, we'd really appreciate any feedback you have, additional information you're looking to learn, just ways we can improve moving forward would be great. Also, don't forget, this was just one of many sessions that are being offered tonight and this week, so be sure to check out the StriveScan website, sign up for other sessions that may be interesting to you, and then in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other sessions that we have hosted as well. So again, thank you for coming. It looks like there may be a couple of questions if anyone wants to tackle those for us while we're here, things that might generally apply to the group. And if we don't get to all your questions tonight, that's okay too. All of our presenters have your contact information and they will follow up with you as well. Okay, well, I think we are good to go. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our presenters, and thanks for everything. Have a great evening.